Hello, this is Spaces Oasis and your host Jeff Meyer here again. First and foremost, I want to apologize for the audio quality last week. That was absolutely horrible and not acceptable. I really started this thing not really understanding how audio quality and all that kind of stuff works, so it's kind of a learning process. I got a mic now. I kind of learned the importance of eliminating background noise and different kind of weird sounds that could annoy you guys as listeners, so try my best here. Got a new mic, so hopefully today we have some good audio quality. The first thing I want to talk about in the sports world is the the AFC South and NFC South. You guys touched on this the other night. These are two completely different divisions in my opinion. The AFC South, I think it's an awful division of football. Honestly, the Titans are the front runner, and I think that's because of their defense. Marcus Mariota, they still have DeMarco Murray at running back, and their offensive line, I saw a thing where, I think I mentioned this before, where they have the second best offensive line in football. So when you have a good offensive line, hopefully able to run the ball, it takes a little pressure off Mariota. He's still young. I think the Titans are the clear-cut favorite in this division, but I think the division is garbage. The Texans have a solid defense, obviously. Everyone knows they have J.J. Watt anchoring it. But Deshaun Watson's rookie, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up being the starter for them this year. Having a rookie quarterback, they're going to have a lot of growing pains on offense, and I don't think their offense is that good. The Colts, who knows with them. I like the Colts, but I think they're on the decline. When you have Andrew Luck at quarterback, key here, healthy Andrew Luck at quarterback, you have a chance to win. You have a chance to win the division. I don't think he's going to be healthy. I saw reports that he's throwing, but how much is he throwing? Can he really, drive off that back foot and deliver some, passes down the field, those deep crossing routes? We'll see if he's 100% or when he's even going to start, because he's still up in the air for week one. So I'm not really sure if he's going to be playing. Then when you look at the Jaguars, people are really high on them for possibly making the playoffs this year. I don't see it. They're too young, in my opinion. I think they're 2 years away. Blake Bortles, people are knocking him as a game manager. I've never really thought that being a game manager was a bad thing, but in today's NFL, they want to put up points. They want exciting quarterbacks, they're slinging the rock around the field. I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. You bring in Fournette. I want to touch on that about Fournette. I really didn't hear his comments, but, I saw him later on after they initially came out. What a joke. The fact that he thinks he's going to come out as a rookie, win the rushing title, just run all over NFL defenses after a preseason game. Come on, man. You better take a step back here. I can only imagine what the veterans in the locker room told him after those comments, because when you get, the regular season games, those spaces and holes and cutback lanes are going to be a lot smaller, a lot tighter. All them, starters out there. It's going to be a whole different game, Essentially, when he was playing against college kids still, in preseason games, people just trying to make the team. It's going to be a whole different story when he's, playing J.J. Watt and the Texans defense in the division, other, NFL starting defenses. Those windows, those cutback lanes, those gaps, they're going to be a lot smaller. They're going to disappear quick. So he's in for a rude awakening if he thinks he's just going to come out and destroy and light the league on fire. I mean, Zeke did pretty damn well last year as a rookie, but I don't think the Jaguars are necessarily the Cowboys and have the front line that they do. So I think he's in for a rude awakening. He's going to have some growing pains. Flipping script now to the NFC South. I think the Falcons are the clear-cut favorite. Coming back this year from losing the Super Bowl to the Patriots, and obviously everyone remembers how devastating that was. But I don't think they're going to have a Super Bowl hangover. I think they have necessary keys on offense to keep winning. Their defense is pretty solid. Matt Ryan, I don't see him. People refer to him as Matty Ice for a reason. I think he's going to come out, play well. I think the Falcons will win that division. I think the Panthers now, after their Super Bowl hangover, because they did have one in a serious way. They were pretty bad last year. I think Cam Newton got some pieces this year. Going to help him out. They got McCaffrey. He's going to be a solid check down for him, make some plays in space, hopefully. I think the Panthers will be good again this year. Hopefully, I'm thinking maybe that, they're hoping they make the playoffs. We'll see. I think they're right on that borderline of a playoff team. But other than that, everyone's high on the Bucs. I don't see it. I'm not sold on Jameis Winston. I know they have Mike Evans, a receiver. They bring in the tight end from Alabama. But I think there's a lot left to be seen by them. I don't think they're ready yet. The Saints, they're going to win some games. They have Drew Brees, but I don't think they're going to be very good. When you have a solid, an elite quarterback like Drew Brees, who's, won a Super Bowl, won a lot of games left, he's going to put them in contention, but I don't really think they're a solid team. So as far as I'm concerned, the Falcons are winning the division, and maybe the Panthers make the playoffs, but I do not like the Bucs this year. Everyone's high on them. I'm not sold on Jameis Winston yet. Now, the guys we're talking about, fantasy receivers, my opinion differs from them. I think you have, like they were saying, the top three, Brown, Beckham, Julio Jones. Those are your top three. Those are your best receivers in NFL. They're going at a high price for fantasy, especially in auction leagues like we have. Antonio Brown's actually my keeper. So, guys, sorry, I'm keeping him as long as he's scoring touchdowns and healthy, because in our PPR league, he's putting up points. But I will say, I had a tough decision whether I was keeping Brown or Ezekiel Elliott. But I looked at the price, and I thought I was getting more bang for my buck keeping Brown. Especially, I think he was at $35 or something like that in our league. And Zeke was in the 50s. And the reason why I picked Brown, too, is why I differ in my opinion from you guys, is I think a receiver, you have your top-tier guys, those three I mentioned, and then everyone else is kind of similar. So I would rather pay big money to get one of those top receivers and then fill my roster accordingly who's left. At running back, you have, like we talked about last week, you have David Johnson, you have Le'Veon Bell. But as far as them two, I feel like all the running backs are about the same. I feel like there's a bigger drop-off from the top receivers to the from the top receivers to the guys who are the second and third string receivers. When Antonio Brown goes out every week, he's Ben's number one target. He's going to get his touches. The ball is going to come to him. Whereas some of the receivers down the line, I don't really know, they're going to get those touches necessarily. And I think with receivers, it depends a lot on the quarterback. So I like paying more for a receiver versus a running back. I'd rather get a middle-of-the-road running back and get, some solid, top-end receivers and then fill the spaces accordingly who's left. But that was my opinion on the receivers. I want to go out there and get an Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones. I think it's a good idea. Tight ends, the only one worth really paying a lot is Gronk. If you pay a lot for anyone else, I don't think that's a smart move. Tight end is probably one of the more interesting positions in fantasy football because there's such variations week to week on that, who's hot. I know the guys brought up Greg Barnidge or whatever, the guy, maybe Gary Barnidge, I can't remember his name exactly, but he was the Cleveland Brown guy who went off a couple years ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, because the quarterback was his college roommate or something like that, if I remember correctly. You never know, tight ends. I don't think you want to spend tons of money on that, so on a tight end position. So I like to spend my money on receivers. I think you get your most bang for your buck with them. And also, I just want to touch on the Zeke suspension. I'm a Steeler fan. I have no bias towards the Cowboys. I don't like him. One of my best friends, a Cowboys fans, he's made me over the years hate the Cowboys, but I think the suspension's bullcrap. I don't think that it's fair, but I mean, if you look back a couple years ago, Big Ben got slapped with a 4-game suspension. I believe it was 6. He but got it reduced to 4 games. I think the same thing's going to happen with Zeke, but I think it's bullcrap just because they're accused. I think the police dropped the charges, if I remember correctly, so there's no hard evidence. I mean, you don't want to ruin a guy's life. Like, this is not something you want on, your resume per se. Obviously, it's a horrible thing. I don't know. I have a lot of opinions on this. When you get labeled that, it's a big accusation. So hopefully, the girl didn't do it with malicious intent. If she did claim and he did it, that's one thing. I think they should throw the book at him. But if he didn't do it, then man, that's rough. But I think it's a stiff, suspension, 6 games. When from everything I'm seeing on social media is that There's no physical evidence that, he was involved in any altercations at the bar, that, he isn't getting charges pressed on him by his girlfriend. So I don't really know all the details or how truthful things are. But if you look at it as if, there's no hard proof that he did it, then I think the 6-game suspension is a little severe. But it's a touchy subject, obviously. Don't want to see guys doing that. Anyone doing that kind of stuff. It's not good. Obviously, that's a very, it's not really describing it correctly, because it's an awful situation and no one should be doing that or put in that situation. But flipping to another topic, Colin Kaepernick. Why is he still in the media? I'm even mad I'm bringing it up. I want the whole situation to die. I don't want them to talk about it anymore. It was over a year ago. Let it rest. At the end of the day, Colin Kaepernick is not a good quarterback. He's proven he's not accurate. In the NFL, you have to be accurate. Let it go. He doesn't have a job in the NFL because, you know why? He can't complete the passes. He can't make all the throws. That is why he doesn't have a job. Let it rest. Let it die. Let's put this to bed. Don't want to talk about this anymore. Colin Kaepernick, I'm done with you. You're just not a good quarterback. And I don't agree with you kneeling for the national anthem, but, at the end of the day, you have the right to. It's a free country. Yes, your way of protesting, fine with that, cool with that. But guess what? You're not a good quarterback. So I'm done with you. That's it. Talking about quarterbacks who aren't good. Josh Dobbs, man, wow, for the Steelers. That was bad. That was really bad. There's not much more to say than that. It was pretty bad. I saw that he's going to be starting the game this Sunday, which it looks like I will be attending with my mom's season tickets because we couldn't sell them because no one wants to go to preseason games. So I'm going to go. I'm going to support my Steelers. And I'm hoping to see Dobbs put a performance that I'm proud of out there because, listen, last week was not good. Not good for the steelers, not good for him, not good for the offense, not good for a lot of things. He couldn't make the reads, couldn't make the throws. And I was hoping he was going to be the backup heir apparent to Big Ben, and what I saw last week was not that. So I'll be at the game, I'll be taking pictures, might do a little thing for Southbound Sports, take a little video or two, try to get some content on the site, on Instagram, on Twitter. Just going to enjoy the old ballpark on Sunday, and hopefully Dobbs can show me something, because we all know Lando Jones isn't it, and I'm hoping that Dobbs is. So, talking about Pittsburgh guys, Aaron Donald, I saw he's holding out his contract. You know what? I hope he gets paid. I don't know how much money he's looking for, but I'm assuming he's holding out into maybe the regular season. He needs and wants to get paid by the Rams. I'm okay with it. At the end of the day, people get a little sour over these situations. Same with Le'Veon Bell. This is a business. Try to get your money, try to get paid, because your NFL shelf life isn't that long. So get paid. And when I was a freshman at Pitt on the team, Aaron Donald was on the team. I've told stories to friends over the years that Aaron Donald was one of the best football players I ever seen. And I was a freshman, and I was not very good. And I saw this monster playing, D-line at Pitt. And I remember telling people, I'm like, remember this name, remember Aaron Donald, because he is going to be something. My prediction was right, man, because he came into the league. I think he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's been tearing it up, playing hell of football. He's been playing lights out, and in that respect to him in the locker room, he's one of the coolest dudes, very quiet, very nice, just a great guy. You see in the locker room a lot of characters, a lot of interesting people, and let's just say Aaron Donald is one of the good guys. So I hope he gets paid. He deserves it. And just the finish up here on Spaces or Laces for the week. I'm calling Richie out. This is the last thing I want to say. The Pirates, man. As a Pittsburgh guy, they are frustrating. I thought, the back of my mind, you're always hopeful for the Pirates. You're thinking this is going to be the series, the game, they turn it around. They didn't do it against the Brewers. I thought maybe that was the series that would push them towards the playoffs, but it wasn't it. Now they got a series against the Cardinals. They have all these interleague games to finish off the year. This is the series. If they don't turn it around, make a statement here against the Cardinals, they're 5.5 games back now. The season is over. Put that flag at half mast. That's what I'm calling you out for. if they don't put something together this weekend, I better see a video of you on Tuesday putting that flag at half mast, because the Pirates, they're toast. This is it. This is their last shot. They don't do it now, they're not doing it, and they're not making the playoffs. So that's what I'm calling you out for. I want to see that flag. Well, I don't want to see it, but I'm probably going to see it on half mast on Tuesday. So, went to a few things here. That's all I got on Space of Laces this week. Hopefully I apologized about the audio last week. Hopefully this was much better. Got some of that humming out of the background. Try to use some noise reduction. The mic hopefully helped a good bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this much more, and the audio quality is much better. So this is Jeff here on Spaces of Laces. Over and out.